Now back to G.I. Joe.
Hey, Joe. We're here with Big Jeff. We're going to review G.I. Joe issue 3 from 1982. Written by Larry Hama, cover by Al Milgrom, and the interiors by Herb Trimpe. So I think Herb Trimpe took off, I guess, the month off for making the cover. And you can tell it's different because it's not really his art. Like if you look at it, that's Trimpe. That's not his style, but I can totally tell it's Al Milgrom. And we got a big robot. Yeah,
that's not one of my favorite covers with the. I don't know why they put like pink in the trade dress.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Sometimes
Pink's
they do
that. Pink's not really a G.I. Joe color to me.
And that's their, I guess. Well, we got Cover Girl and Scarlet, but you're right.
Yeah,
it's only girls in there right now. We got plenty of girls to come later in this story, but also if you look at the action,
I'm just saying like
they really make Scarlet Cover Girl look too feminine. So they did that when they redid the other figures they did for them, but the one where they finally figure out how to make a female figure was with Baroness. But anyway, so this is, like I said, G.I. Joe issue 3. We're going to tell you
Trojan Gambit.
Yeah, the Trojan Gambit. So we'll get into why they call it the Trojan Gambit. It's like, a play on Trojan horse. But here are the key players. Here's the cast of characters. This one, I have all the file cards for G.I. Joe and one for Cobra here. Snake Eyes, the Commando. Of course, nobody knows where he's from or where he was born. Or nobody knows his name. So there you go. But he's all a mystery man. Also, we have Zap, codename Zap. His name is Rafael Melendez from New York City, and he's an E4. And of course, we got one of my favorite, Lonzo Wilkinson, aka codename Stalker. He's from Detroit, Michigan, E5. Also, we have Steeler, file name Ralph Pulaski. His specialty is armor. He is the tank driver. He is from Pittsburgh, PA. He's a grade 01. Of course, we have Shauna O'Hara, codename Scarlet, from Atlanta, GA, grade E5, military specialty classified counterintelligence. And the commander of all the Joes at this point still is General Flagg.
Yep.
And he was born in Alexandria, Virginia. Military specialty General Commander, grade 0-7. He's the son of the original G.I. Joe Commander, Commanding General, after whom the USS Flagg aircraft carrier was named. General Flagg is a graduate of the Virginia Military Institute, as were 5 preceding generations of Flaggs, carrying on where his father left off. General Flagg likes to be in the thick of it, meaning he needs the personal weapon as devastating as the G.I. Joe Brawler. Don't just take the high ground, he says, take it all. Kind of sounds a little bit like General Patton, don't he?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I got Hawk. Real name, Clayton Abernathy. He is the, what would you say? The CO, though. He's the CO. He's like the commander on the ground. He's from Denver, Colorado. He's a 06. And then, of course, we have Breaker. Real name is Alvin Keeby from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is only about 2 hours from me. He is an E4. And we got Flash Anthony Gambello from Lodi, California. And he is an E4. Yeah, in Lodi, California.
Right up the road from me.
Then we got another Californian here, rock and roll, named Craig S. McConnell. He's from Malibu, California, and he's an E5, heavy machine gunner. He's also a surfer and likes the rock music. And rounding out the Joes, we have Clutch, Lance Steinberg from Asbury Park, New Jersey, the hometown of Bruce Springsteen. He's an E4. And then on the bad guy side, we get another glimpse at Cobra Commander in this issue. He wasn't in issue 2, Jeff.
No.
But he is the enemy leader. We don't know his real name. That's classified. His primary military specialty is intelligence. Secondary specialty is ordnance. Birthplace also classified. And he is the commander-in-chief of the Cobra. of the Cobra, the terrorist organization. And it says Cobra Commander is hatred and evil personified, corrupt, a man without scruples, probably the most dangerous man alive. Sounds kind of eerie to me. But let's get this screen shared and we'll show you the cover again here. Here we go. So we start out with the cover here, 1982 Marvel Comics Group. Man, Jeff, you know what? I wish they were still 60 cents, my friend. That's one thing I'm going to say, because they're like $4.99. It's kind of ridiculous. We still have the Comic Book Authority here, and we got a Al Milgrom cover here, or Hal Milgrom. And then we'll go on to the next page. And as you can see, script is Stan Lee presents G.I. Joe Real American Hero, The Trojan Gambit, script by Larry Hama. Pencils, interior pencils by Herb Trimpe. The inkers are J. Abel and J. DiAgostino. The letterer is Diana Albers. Colorist was George Russo's. Editor at the time was Tom DeFalco, and of course, the editor-in-chief at this time was the legendary late great Jim Shooter. So, like we said, it's called Trojan Gambit, and we open up, and they're at this place which says "Peace Through War," Cobra on the back there, and you got the GI Joes are dismantling this robot at this Cobra base, and it says mission accomplished, General Flagg. The GI Joe team has secured the Cobra stronghold, and we've captured some sort of battle robot. Stiller and Clutch are now dismantling it. And they're going to need a cleanup. They said we're going to need an ambulance for all our wounded and a truck to haul away the robot. So Flagg comes in and goes, Breaker, because the Breaker's talking to him. He goes, were there any serious injuries? And Breaker tells General Flagg, yes, sir. A half dozen Cobra troopers thought they had old Snake Eyes disarmed. And he says, shoot, General. He shouldn't be allowed to carry that thing in his boot like that. It's got to be against the Geneva Convention.
Snake Eyes went hack and slash.
Yeah, well, you know what? Snake Eyes should probably be against the Geneva Convention. He's got all that ninja training, which we'll find out later. So you see they're dismantling the robot. And we see the Cobra.
Look at that head. Look at the robot head.
Yeah, I know. It looks like a trash can.
It's like a 1950s something from Mars. I don't know.
So here they go and say, look, Stiller, he asks Stiller, what about this console? We hauling this away too? And Stiller says, nah. Rock and Roll must have pumped 200 rounds of 7.62 NATO into those circuit boards. That sucker's red line for the scrap heap clutch. And if anybody doesn't know, there's that's where Larry Hama's military background comes back. Because if you don't know what he means by 7.62 NATO, those are NATO rounds, which is like when we're in NATO, everybody uses the same type of round, so everybody can share ammunition, right, Jeff?
Yep. 7.62.
So everybody uses 7.62 millimeter. Then we got Flagg comes back on. He says, well, Breaker, your backup team is on the way. They'll be here in 3 vehicles disguised as mail trucks. Get the robot back to G.I. Joe Command and stop chewing that gum, which is something you'll see Breaker do a lot. And on the G.I. Joe classified figure that came out a few years ago, they have an attachment where you can look like he's blowing a bubble, because that was Breaker's kind of like trademark in the comics. So they bring in the mail truck. So remember, the next time you see a mail truck, there could be a giant Cobra terrorist robot dismantled in it with the G.I. Joe team. So they're like, heads up, Joes, here's our transports. They're going to put the prisoners in the first truck and the robot in the second one. And this is, they're going to take them to the stockade at Fort Hamilton, and the wounded are going in the back door of the VA hospital. So they're like, check that. They're going to bring them in here. So you're in the back here with a robot, Stiller. And I don't know why Stiller got in charge. I thought he was a tanker, and he's in charge of watching the robot. He could ride in the back with a robot, he said. So anyway, so they will elsewhere, and here's our first glimpse at Cobra Commander in this issue. He's not really in it a lot of panels, but his scheme is in it. Yeah. So they're saying, like, look, phase 1 is complete, Cobra. And his flunky here is like, that was the easy part. Next phase will be very tricky.
Not a very good plan either.
No, it's like really half-assed. So anyway, so they're doing a Trojan horse thing. They got this robot in there, and you'll find out why. So they're like wondering why Clutch is like, why are we taking the Ferranzo Narrows Bridge? The ferry's a much nicer ride. And they said, we can't let the cargo stand still. We don't want nobody peeking in the back. Who's going to open up a mail truck and peek in the back? I do not know. But the thing is, actually, in the military, you want to keep moving when you got cargo like this, though. You don't want to get in a situation where you're stopped for too long.
Anytime you're in a military convoy, you don't want to stop. It's not good.
Yeah, so that's right. They don't really stop for anything. In fact, you better be careful walking out in front of them. That's all I want to say. That ain't nothing, Clutch. He says, he goes, they're going back here to Fort Wadsworth, the chaplain assistant's barracks. He says, what if they knew what was under the chaplain's assistant school here at Fort Wadsworth? They sent us all the way down the computer level. So they're going all the way down the computer level. And what's he tell Zap? He says, you're about as funny as a chest wound. And he goes, it's a long trip. Maybe we should show a movie. So he's telling you how deep underground the space is. And we get a glimpse of that right here. They go into the motor pool. He's right, though, Stiller. It's a long way down to the computer level. Is there a reason for the computers and living quarters to being at the lowest part of the pit? So he tells him it's because of personal survival. He's like, what do you mean? So he tells him, let's put it this way. If they dropped a nuclear bomb on us, the crater would extend down at least past the heavy equipment, which is where they're at. He says that would disappear. That's on the first level. And he goes, there you keep going down here. And he's like, the shock wave would disintegrate all the equipment on the briefing room level, which is that. And the radiation would kill every living thing down as far as the training level. So we're going down here to the training level. You can see we've seen this some of this equipment before, like that big bubble thing. Remember the thing that Snake Eyes was in issue 1?
Yeah.
So they're kind of keeping continuity up, right, Jeff?
Yeah. What do you call it? The desensitization chamber or whatever.
Yeah. The bottom 2 levels with the living quarters, computers, generators, life support systems can be sealed so we could all survive, basically is what he's saying.
Yeah.
He said, have you been taking lessons, Sap? He said, does that mean we won't glow in the dark? Yeah.
Like this part of the issue is kind of fun because that brings me back to being a kid and into the G.I. Joe tech, like the bases, all that stuff. And
we get to see some of the Joe members' living quarters here. Yeah. And it's really cool because it's they're going down, and it's kind of like they're using this as an excuse so they can show you, all the fans, what are the inner workings of the pit. So we get a little sense of what the pit's like right here. And we go to the next page. He's like, this is later. And he says, we have to stay up. Why do we have to stay up all night scanning this pile of tin? I thought the eggheads from Aberdeen were going to pick it apart tomorrow. I think Aberdeen is like a military tech base or something, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And it's it's for security reasons. Our friends at Cobra might have been pulling a double whammy. He said, well, they really don't realize that yet. But he's like, yeah, they thought there could be booby traps in it or sensors. And they don't know half of it yet because it's get a little sci-fi here in a minute.
Yeah, just a little.
You mean this thing might have a bomb in its shorts? He says, he thinks have a bomb in its shorts. It's not like our sensors show no active mechanical or electronic devices that rules out a timer. The chemical scan shows no explosives. Although we'll get back to that later because why did it pick up something else? And I think you know what I'm getting ready to say, Jeff, later.
Yeah.
What we've got here is one dead robot, he says. So hours later after that, Commander Hawk and Scarlet come in. He says, Scarlet came back to changing our dress screens before making a showing at the chaplain's assistant social tea, which is being held in the motor pool upstairs. We must maintain our cover, So you see, the chaplains on the ground level don't really on the top level outside on the regular base don't even know that G.I. Joe's down here. But I kind of also it's not very secure though when you start hearing some stuff here in a minute. We'll talk about that. Snake Eyes, Flash, and Stalker will collect your weapons for storage in the arms room. And they're like, all right, sounds good, Hawk. We're through the scans, so these guys are ready to go get breakfast. And one guy says, heck, let's have lunch and dinner while we're at it. So these guys have worked up a hunger. So here we go. 1 hour later, 6 levels higher at the chaplain assistant school, T social or whatever this is.
Yeah.
This one lady comes up and she's talking to Hawk, says, tell me, Colonel, how do soldiers assigned to chaplain's motor pool manage to acquire such an impressive array of decorations? And he says, well, ma'am, when you're not driving the Padre to the chapel, we're out hunting down international terrorists. And she's like, oh, Colonel, you're pulling my leg. Terrorists indeed. Bacon and eggs. He's like, pardon me? And here's Scarlett having some tea. He says, bacon and eggs. I could swear I smell bacon and eggs frying somewhere. So they got a vent that goes through the pit, and they can smell everything and hear everything. That doesn't seem too secure to me, Jeff. I mean, there's got to be a better way. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyway, they can smell the bacon cooking, and then you go down here 5 levels down to the pit's canteen. And he's like, hey, Stiller, do you want your cackle fruit runny or rubbery? So if you don't know what he means by cackle fruit, it's a chicken egg. I've not heard it called that in a while. My uncle used to call it that. He says somewhere in between, the bacon could stand to be a bit crispier. So then 6 levels down in the arms room, you see Snake Eyes in there cleaning the weapons. He's like, Stalker's like, oh, Flash, I sure would like to know why old Snake Eyes always volunteers to clean all the weapons himself. And he tells him, well, it's real simple, Stalker. He doesn't want your weapon to jam if you're covering him.
Uh-huh.
So that'd be pretty smart. That's a pretty smart idea. So you get there.
Not doing that as a favor to you.
No, it's a favor to him and everybody else. So then we get back here, Cobra Commander and his guys, and they're like, all right, Cobra Commander, the chemical timer in the robot's right hand is due to activate itself in 30 seconds. So, okay, I got a question, Jeff. Is this a plot hole, or am I just imagining this?
The plot hole.
They ran a chemical scan of this robot and didn't find any explosives. But don't you think that chemical scan could have found any other chemical, like a chemical timer?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But I mean, it's for kids, so let's not get too.
Yeah, we can't get lost in the sauce.
So then Cobra says goodbye. Cobra Commander's like, goodbye now. Our little sleeper should be. Should I say it like this? Good by now. Our little sleeper should be in the very heart of the G.I. Joe Command Center, whatever that is. So they're trying to find out where the pit is actually at because they don't know.
Yeah.
We can't control or communicate with the robot as long as it's in the command center because they have it shielded. The facility must be radio. Yeah. So yeah, they got he goes, everything's radio shielded down there. We'll kind of go through this. So when the robot hand will figure out the pattern, so it's jumping over here. The central computer program for activating these blast doors must of necessity be simple and to follow and recognizable pattern. So then here you go. They're in the armory and slam, wham. So they get that door shut. So Stalker and Snake Eyes are trapped in here now. We go down to the canteen where these guys are cooking breakfast and wham, lock those specific doors, they say. And once the blast doors have been secured, the robot hand will activate its other components and proceed to face 3 of our plan. And there you look, its hands are activated and it's walking its head over here to the body. So, yeah, because we know all robots can do that. All right.
Well, everybody's having breakfast.
There are no robots at all, right? So, I mean, at this point, and there's still no robot advanced enough to do this. All right. Meanwhile, in the canteen, so they're already wondering why they're locked in here. And he says, don't mess with that access plate, Clutch. We may be under attack. And Clutch is no way, Steeler. The alarms would have gone off first, and they think it's just a computer file up. And he showed him right here that the arm bar, the counterweight that locks the blast door. And he tells him, look, but without a crowbar, there's no way we can get through here, right? Well, nobody told Steeler that. He's like, Clutch, I don't buy this computer file up nonsense. Something's fishy, and I aim to find out what. The Steeler, you're some kind of crazy. That blast door is over 200 pounds of dead weight. And I don't know why, but Steeler seems to feel that he needs to take his shirt off to do this. So he takes his shirt off. Don't ask me why. I don't know. It says, Breaker, you never
from
had
Pittsburgh.
That's right. He's from Pittsburgh. He don't mess around.
He's
a Breaker. You never had to replace he said you never had to replace a bogey wheel on a tank in a field. Just grab that chair and jam it into the door. So he lifts it up. He goes, now. And so he puts it in there. He goes, shoot, I knew you could do it, Steeler. I was just giving you a hard time. So Stiller's been he's been doing some lats. I mean, look at those. Look at it. He's been doing some back exercises there.
Get in the weight room.
Yeah. So in the arms room, Zap, Snake Eyes, and Stalker. Our first priority is getting out. Says Zap. Any of the heavier weapons in here could easily knock the door down, but the blast would probably kill us. So that's unacceptable. No shit. At full power, the laser rifle would do the trick, but it would eat up all the oxygen too fast, and we'd suffocate. Equally unacceptable. He goes, so they're going to do it at low power. And Stalker tells him, what's your ball game? But me and Snake Eyes are going to bunk out to conserve our air and wake us when the doors open. So apparently, Stalker and Snake Eyes can just go to sleep on command. I don't know how. Yeah, I guess that's probably the case. Then we go to the emergency stairwell. He's like, "What's the rush, Clutch? A minute ago, you were willing to wait it out." And Clutch says, "Something ain't right." And I've got a hunch that it's that robot in the computer room.
Yeah.
He said, "But we scanned the thing. It was inert." And he's like, "Well, besides, it's been dismantled. I hope you don't think it got up the table and reassembled itself, did it?" Well, that's exactly what it did. So we go to the next page, and here they go. "Holy spit breaker, you said a mouthful." So instead of spit, he says, instead of shit, they say spit. Yeah. So we'll just say it this way. He said, "Holy shit," because that's what you would say if a big giant robot came at you. You wouldn't say, "Holy spit, Jeff."
Yeah, and it was all honest. It was all disassembled last time you saw it.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Holy fuck, what is that?" That's what I would say. It wouldn't be shit. I don't know. I don't know it. He says, don't I know it? I'm eating those words now, and they ain't tasty. So they're having to run for cover. That robot's between us and the arms room, he says. It's probably locked anyway. I suggest an orderly retreat back up the stairs. So they go back on the 5th level. "Hold on, guys. I've got an idea," he says. And he's like, "Hurry, Clutch. That robot's come up the stairs." She goes, and Clutch says, "Well, pew, this PX aftershave is the worst." So he's pouring all the PX aftershave in a bucket. And in the arms room, we got, look here, Stalker just sleeping tough over here, leaned up against the counter. And Snake Eyes is laid out here like a dead body. He says, "I'm cutting it real close. The air is getting bad already." So then we go back to Clutch. He goes, "Hear it, Clutch?" He goes, "I ain't deaf, And hear it walking up the stairs. So, hey, you Peterbilt tuxedo, how's about a face full of cheap cologne?" So, if you don't know what a Peterbilt is, he means it's like a tractor trailer. The big rigs are made by a company called Peterbilt.
They light Mr. Sentinel on fire.
Yeah, they light him on fire. He said, "No need to get burned up about it." Cheap pun incoming. So we get back to Cobra Commander. He says, and they're on helicopters now. He says, "Our robot is programmed to fight its way out of the G.I. Joe Command Center. Once in the open, it will transmit the homing beacon." And is that we picked up on the director? And it gives us the exact location of the G.I. Joe home base. And there's some odd helicopters here, Jeff. They look like snakes.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. I don't recall ever seeing those.
Could they just have regular helicopters with Cobra emblems on it? I think that would have been better. Just having that was just an artistic choice by Trimpe, I guess.
Yep.
So we go back up.
It's not a legit vehicle that I know of.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a good aerodynamic design either. So anyway, they're back up here with Commander Hawk and Scarlet, looking kind of hot, actually. I don't say so myself. Very strange. Just a little, I don't know. I got something for a woman. She looks hot in this one, but she looks weird in this one. But I guess it's a side profile. But something about a woman in uniform, I guess. All right. Aroma of bacon and eggs. He goes, "In the air now, I see the smell of electrical fire." And Scarlet says, "Do you think?" And then Hawk cuts her off and goes, "I wouldn't worry about it, O'Hara. It's probably just the crosswind from the mess hall. And if that's the case, that smell isn't half as bad as it could be." So he's trying to play it down because he don't want nobody getting suspicious.
Can't be taken away from assistant chaplain's tea time.
That's right. Meanwhile, on the training level, the robot's on fire, and they said, "I can hear it moving out there, Clutch." He said, "Give it another minute. Maybe the fire will blow one of the main circuits." And they look back, it's gone. He says, "Where can it be at? Where do you hide a 10-foot robot at?" It's got to be on this level. We didn't hear anything in the stairwell opening. And they're like, "Well, I don't like this." And they're like, "You and me both. Come on, guys. Let's check the training area." So they go to the training area. like we said, we saw the training area in issue 1, so it's laid out the same way, basically. And they go, there's nothing in here. Let's go look by the pool. He said, hold on, Clutch. What are we going to do if we find it? Spit at it? Because they don't have any weapons. Remember the first of it?
Yeah.
I said, check your weapons into the armory.
Yeah.
So what's the matter, Breaker? That gum got your teeth stuck together? He says, that ain't funny, Steeler. And they're like, cool it, guys. So then all of a sudden it jumps out of the water. It submerged itself, in the pool to put the fire out. Okay. Why didn't it? I don't know. Why didn't it like destroy it by doing that? But I don't know. Maybe it's waterproof. So they all run for the elevator.
High Cobra tech.
Yeah. This elevator only goes up as far as the garage level. He says it'll have to do. He's looking at all that heavy hardware, and none of it is loaded. All that ammo is locked in the armory 6 levels down. So all these tanks are going to do them a little good.
What's that teach you, folks? A gun without ammunition is a paperweight.
Yeah. He says, you hear that? The robot's busting down the elevator doors below us. I hear the cable straining as it's climbing after us. And he said, that's okay. I'll just send the car back down on top of it. And he crunches it right there. Bam. Next page, he's like, wow, that sucker is tough. It smashed the elevator and it's climbing, still climbing. He says, well, then we'll just drop this laser cannon on its head. I used to have that laser cannon, Jeff. They're like, yeah. So they throw it down there. And he said, oh, no, it missed. So they just wasted millions of dollars of equipment for no reason. But anyway, so that rust bug is still standing on the ledge of the briefing room level. And then there it goes through the elevator doors. It busts through. And it says, dollars to donut. It's making for the stairs again. And there he goes, right for the stairwell. He says, well, Stiller, help me scrounge up some paint. Breaker, do we have any aluminum foil? He says, yeah. We use the chafe enemy radar. And if anybody doesn't know what he means by that is they can use bits of tin foil and they'll like put it in the air, right, Jeff, or something like explodes in the air. And the foil, or they use foil to chafe the heart, so you can't get a radar beat on somebody.
Well, also little because it's metallic or whatever, and has a certain signature. If it's a radar guided munition and it's getting close to what it believes its target is, and you throw all that shit out there, you can trick the munition and it'll blow up the tinfoil instead of your jet or whatever.
Don't aircraft do something like that too?
Chaff, yeah.
Yeah, chaffing. All right. So anyway, he blows the door open. It looks like it's coming from his crotch, so I don't know about this perspective. But we do know one thing. We know one thing. That's not AI though, because this was in 1982. Yeah. All right. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Never mind. So he gets through the door. He's like, "Uh-oh, looks like we've finished spreading out that foil just in time." And then he throws the silver paint in his face.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Here goes nothing." And he tells him that paint should put the kibosh on its visual receptors. It's got to rely on radar to track us now. And the radar is chafed. So he says, and that radar is bouncing off that aluminum foil as if it were a solid floor. Yeah. So the foil's covering up the instead of the open pit, it's the hydraulic lift well. That's kind of where they put, the hydraulic lift. Yep. So it steps over the tin foil, thinks it's a regular floor, and falls down. And it goes all the way back down 6 floors to the computer level. So it's falling. Badoom. I always loved how they said badoom for like something crashing. So in the motor pool, he's like, what is that sound? So she's still suspicious. This lady is very suspicious.
Yeah.
It sounded like a Mack truck full of anvils going off a cliff. It came from somewhere below us. And then Hawks is like, nah. That must have been some sort of acoustical phenomenon. There's nothing below us but solid Staten Island. And he's got like
cannot interrupt. Cannot interrupt Assistant Chaplain's teeth.
Yeah. And Scarlett's looking at him like, come on, Hawk. Nobody believes that shit. Look at the look on her face. She's like, oh, come on.
Here we go with unknown Cobra Copter.
And we got the Cobra Copter. That I don't know. It just looks like shit. But anyway, Cobra Commander, our fuel situation is becoming critical. If the robot does not transmit the homing beacon within 10 minutes, we'll be forced to abort this mission. They really didn't plan this mission out too well, did they? No. Well, we'll wait until the last possible moment. I've waited too long to stage a full frontal assault on the G.I. Joe home base, he says. And he says, "Oh, the robot will succeed, and we shall destroy their command center." I got a question, Jeff. Look at this. We get a kind of a fuller shot, bigger, longer shot, body shot of Cobra Commander here. Do you think this is before the toy was designed?
No, because Joe's were out in '82, I believe.
Oh, but Cobra, I don't know. It's like, is this a different Cobra? I don't remember them ever looking like that in the toy, but anyway.
You know what? Here's the thing: the hooded Cobra, I mean the silver mask Cobra Commander, did not have any ropes like they show on here, but the hooded Cobra Commander did.
Yes, that's true. It might have been a mix-up mashup. Also, the helmet he's wearing, it usually looks a little more like just a mask. The whole thing looks like the same thing. But
this is not a good Cobra Commander.
This kind of looks like a German, like World War II helmet.
Yeah, the top part's it shrouds too much of his supposed to be like a silver face.
So they're in the arms room now. They finally get through to Stalker Snake Eyes. The door's open. Let's go. So they wake up. Hey, you guys are just in time to help us clean up. And they're like, dag. So they run out and there's all these parts. He goes, now, wow, those Aberdeen honchos are going to be really mad. You guys broke their new toy. Well, it almost broke us. And they're like, hey, look, the head, it's still moving. It's sprouting tentacles.
Here we go.
What's going on? You asking me? I'll tell you what's going on. It's climbing up the shaft. So it climbs up the shaft. And he goes, no big deal. I'll just knock it back down. He says, good shot, Flash. So Flash shoots it, I guess, with that laser cannon gun.
Yep.
And it falls down, and then these little spider bugs come out. He's like,
yeah.
No wonder it was jumping around. It's got bugs in its head.
So these are the little sensors that were meant to signal Cobra where the base is.
At this point, I got another question, Jeff. Why did Cobra not just like let the head open up, let these little guys out, let them crawl out,
yep,
and then find out where they were at?
Yeah. Like I say, this issue, it's kid fun is what it is.
Yeah.
But looking at it as adults, you can see the plot holes.
Yeah. And Stalker's like, well, don't look like any bugs ever seen. So they start smashing with above his gun and their feet. And he's like, well, boy, howdy, there is a walking transmitter in a homing device. Since these recesses for a dozen bugs, and leaves 11 of the little devils. So there's like one more. It's like, well, spread out, Joe. If just one of them makes it out to the surface, the pit is compromised. We got to smash everyone. We go to the next page, and meanwhile, upstairs, it sounds like a small firefight is going on down in the pit. The chaplains are beginning to wonder. And I know, Scarlet, but we dare not do anything until the tea is over. And she's like, but. So he just, I guess Hawk just loves his tea, right? So we go back to Cobra's helicopters here, the snake copter. Cobra Commander, the robot signal is way past overdue. In 3 minutes, the fuel station will reach a critical point. The fuel situation will reach a critical point and we'll be endangered. He says, well, we are going to wait the full 3 minutes, mister, and not a minute sooner. Down the computer level of the pit again. You guys will pew, that robot must have knocked out the internal sensors. So they can't find it. So they're going to get them back operational. They're still out here swatting. He goes, until you do, you have to track these things down by hand. And then Stalker stomps on one and says, by foot. And then one goes down the chute here.
Yeah.
And it's done. We've got the sensors back on. So he goes, start tracking them, Breaker. We've accounted for all the bugs except one. He's like, I've got it, Stalker. Oh, no. What is it, Breaker? What's wrong? He said. He goes, well, it's within inches of the surface on the grate to the motor pool. I don't know why they have a grate going right under the motor pool, but again, this is for kids. We'll never stop it in time. Cobra's going to be able to track us, he says. He said, well, we've had it. I say there's something moving under the grate, one of the chaplains says. He's like, what the? It's a bug, an insect. So before it can get out,
Scarlet takes care of it.
Yeah, Scarlet's like, is that all, Padre? We're used to that around the motor pool. And she crunches it, and it goes back down and falls on Stalker and all of them.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, watch out, smash bug parts. And then he says, Cobra Commander, the Cobra's flunky's like, Cobra Commander, the 3 minutes are up. We must terminate the mission. And Cobra Commander's like, well, order all the units to return to Cobra Central. Luckily, we'll have more than one plan. We have more than one plan to destroy G.I. Joe. Well, Cobra Commander, I hope you have a better one than that. I'm sorry. But anyway,
comes up with many.
The chaplain's tea party. And one of the staff was like, if I didn't know any better, I'd swear that I heard people cheering under the grate. He goes, it must be some of that acoustical phenomenon again the colonel mentioned earlier. And then Hawk's like, you know what, Scarlet? I may have been pushing the Joes a bit too hard lately. I think I'll recommend them for a little extra leave time. And Scarlet says, good idea, Hawk. Sounds like they're going buggy down there. Oh, my God. That sounds like something you'd hear on the cartoon. This sounds like
that's cartoon. That's cartoon talk.
So anyway, there you go. That is the end of that. And now we've read it, and now we'll talk about it. So that took 35 minutes. That's not too bad, I guess. Let me remove this from this. All right. So, Jeff, what are your thoughts of G.I. Joe issue 3?
Not one of my favorite issues. I just when they start leaning too hard into the sci-fi stuff, like I know they have that's kind of like the formula for the cartoon and stuff. They had the Mass Effect Ray and the weather controller thing, and that's kind of what Cobra does. They build something and think it's going to unleash dominance on the world or something. But I mean, this issue was cool because it kind of gets you what do you say, introduced and more familiar with the different characters of Joe. You know, Rock and Roll and Zap, and Steeler, and everybody.
Yeah.
So that part's cool, and you get to see the different levels of the pit, and that's cool. But the Cobra robot was a metal mashed potato, and it was lame. And the little sensors that come out after it got its butt whooped was, you know, too little, too late. This was not one of my favorite issues. It gets better.
Yeah, and actually the cover portrays they're having a big like head-to-head fight with it. They're not really. They don't really.
No.
They're
That's not one of my favorite covers either.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I like the thing. I agree with you though. I like the thing about the pit, and we'd see them go down in the elevator. And I thought there was some funny dialogue, even though some of it was unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
And then the I didn't really like the robot. Some of the art was kind of. And I normally like Herb Trimpe. He did a lot of good work on Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. Look, everybody can't. Every time you step up in the plate, you can't hit a home run. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we will add that Trimpe did not do the cover. This is Milgrom did the cover. So,
but like the drawing of Cobra Commander inside the interiors wasn't Trimpe's best this time around.
I think maybe they're trying to get their sea legs about it. This is only the third issue.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to do issue 4 next.
This is still the beginning. You know, this is only issue 3, so I think everything is still morphing together. You know what I mean?
And here's issue. I think we'll do this one next. I don't have a copy of this one yet.
I do,
but I'm going to order it. It's one of the few I don't have. But we get back to kind of like the G.I. Joe form we like, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm liking Milgrom the way he's drawn Scarlet on here. This is a good Scarlet. But I always liked her. I got a thing for redheads. But anyway,
I like that cover, except for the perspective on Stalker is shooting poor Snake Eyes right in the back.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And also, as he's shooting her or Rock and Roll in the ankles here, look.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know why I don't know. Maybe it's somebody. I mean, Larry Hama could have told him that wasn't a good idea, but you know. Anyway,
kids, a comic book.
It's a comic book. It's just I don't know. Yeah, he's shooting right in the back though. Anyway, so there you go. That's I think we'll do that. I wasn't going to do that one yet, but I kind of want to go up to issue 5, and just because I don't have the book doesn't mean we can't review it because I can read it.
Well, I got it in the compendium, and you could review it just like we do on the show here.
Yeah, and that's what we'll do. But anyway, guys, we got this one about 40 minutes. I kind of was a little bit long-winded, but that's it for the review. It's all right. This is not the best G.I. Joe issue we ever read. That's kind of our consensus. But now you know everything you need to know about G.I. Joe issue 3.
Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
You know a little more about the pit.
That's right. We know a little bit about the pit now. And we know that Cobra Commander has lousy helicopters. Well, that's the show. Thank you for watching. And be sure to watch out for the next Retro Comp review. I think what we're going to do, Jeff, is we're just going to start just doing the G.I. Joe will be a standalone series, because I think that's probably best. And then we're going to also review Uncanny X-Men Annual 11 in a week or two. So, all right, guys. We'll see you guys later, but we'll see you next time.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.